welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Marlene. Today's video, we continue with the Law of One, and the topic is on spiritual balancing. So this term of balance, it's mentioned throughout the sessions in different ways, but here we're gonna talk more specifically on the polarities that we all have, our yin and yang, our positive or negative, are masculine and feminine. But on the sessions, this term is also used in a lot of different ways. It is very important to do this balance of our energy centers because that is how we're gonna move to the next densities. That is how you stay on the path towards enlightenment. Okay, pretty much to be in like 100% balance is when you are on the 6th density, when you're about to go to the 7th density, which is union with source or with God. So pretty much this balancing is you being already almost like an archangel. Okay, you have to be really up there. So knowing this, how are we going to apply spiritual balancing when we're still on the 3rd density, when we still have our chemical bodies, when we're still like are not perfect, right? So, and how we can sustain it. So spiritual balancing, we are focusing on the yin and yang. So your positive polarity is going to be your feminine side, which is going to be the heart, and your negative polarity is going to be the mind, which the term negative in Ross terminology is not equal to being like something bad, and not to be confused, but it's like something essential for you to actually use to polarize even more towards like which path you want to take, right? So from other videos, let's remember that the path of the positive polarity is that of which is service to others, and the negative polarity is service to self. On this density, we are trying to see which polarity we're going to do, but again, internally you need to have both. How it looks energetically on the inside, the positive polarity, which is your feminine, will be that in which I get, if it's like in a negative connotation, it's gonna seem like any act of self-love is gonna seem like selfish, whereas the negative polarity on its fall can be a little bit it's narcissistic. So it's a tendency to only do things for your own selfish reasons. Okay. So to do spiritual balancing is saying that you have to do practices of healing, in which healing refers to the integration of the energy. You can't live in one and abandon the other. They both heal differently, but it is important to recognize the imbalances and heal it as much as possible, as Ra mentions in some of the sessions. As we move towards, again, the path of enlightenment, we are trying to embody more light. So light, it's growing in consciousness. It's like stepping into that ladder towards enlightenment. Each step, you're gonna have to let go of karma or like old patterns, so that you can integrate more light, more consciousness, and be able to sustain it. Okay. And light, it's in Ross terminology, it's the same as love. So they interchange this term as being the same. That will be like the principle of non-duality or the law of one. So love and light are the same. Love is the feminine energy. So it's chaos, is Shakti, it's pretty much the unseen. Okay. So how do we heal this energy that is so abstract? Is through doing practices of shadow work, of healing your inner child, of letting go of the past and pretty much trying to change your emotions, having like emotional intelligence. So you do this also by expressing your emotions in a healthy way, like crying, like getting angry, but all with the intention to heal yourself. Okay, you're not gonna hurt anybody. So let's imagine that you feel angry. You're not gonna act on it. You're just gonna imagine it, okay? And you're gonna use that anger towards I guess you can either scream to your pillow or use it as motivation to change something, right? To like, okay, I feel angry because this person did this to me and I can do nothing about it. Well, you take that lesson, and instead of manipulating other people so they feel the same, or use them, you will use it as a catalyst, transmute it, and use it in a positive way for you to feel like have more inspiration in your life, more passion, right? So that's why we see this whole movement of activate your feminine energy, or how to activate your feminine energy, because we are trying to heal the shadow side. We are trying to activate that feminine energy in the light, okay? And this is because a lot of societies, like especially here in the US, we live in a very masculine energy, and so we kind of need to balance it with the feminine. But on the negative side, when we take this too far, like these practices, we can become what is called the perpetual shadow worker, where you're always just doing shadow work, like you're constantly just like learning about it, but you don't really integrate it. It's kind of like you are loving being in pain and not actually wanting to change your mindset, your viewpoint on what you like went through, okay? And this is not to like belittle your pain or your emotions, but it's again, it's kind of like you integrate what happened and you're trying to transmute it so that later on you can see that that was a lesson, that was an experience you had to, like, it helped you grow as a person. So to heal the masculine heals in a very different way than the feminine, because the masculine is which for Ra will be the light, which again they're the same, light and love. But light here is order, is wisdom, is direction. It's what it is, kind of like what we see, the manifestation, like physical manifestation of things. But here we're talking about our mind. So how we heal the masculine is we do it with information, because information is knowledge, is light, is wisdom. It is like when you read something that resonates with you and it makes you feel better, because now you find like the term or like the pattern that you've been doing consciously or unconsciously, and because now you have like a name for it, you kind of like can do something about it. It's kind of like when you get sick and you find out like, oh, this is what it's called. Now you go to the doctor and have specific treatment for it, okay? So the masculine is more directional, okay? It gives the energy a direction, a focus. So because you're comprehending it like psychologically, that's kind of like how you heal it. You understand the pattern and you try to break the pattern, okay? So it's kind of like healing the ego. It's kind of like when you go to a psychotherapist and like they help you to put all your thoughts into structure, like they help you give it structure for you to actually make the change and do like something about it, right? But on the shadow side, the masculine energy, it can sometimes be too much of, again, like the mind, where they don't integrate the heart. So they can be reading about spiritual stuff and know everything about spirituality, everything, like Gnostics, uh, I don't know, like astrology, everything. They never integrate any of that. So in a way, they, because they're denying love, they're what it will be called like a spiritual narcissist. So they think they know it all, but in reality, like they're ignoring the other polarity, and so they're at an imbalance. So again, the importance on this topic is because we're trying to understand the lessons of love and this density to be able to move to the next density. And all the catalysts in this density are psychological. So it's your ego. It's pretty much you are either getting psychological traumas from other people, or you can be your own like perpetual psychological trauma bombing, right? So we need to learn or to balance love and wisdom, okay? Love and light. This is why just clinging only to one side, like the non-duality, is not balancing the other. We never try to ignore the other side. When we're working only in one, we integrate both. And for example, someone that has not had their spiritual awakening will be more, have more, find more benefits on reading about oneness, the law of one, spiritual concepts, because again, they need their mind to be like a little bit more activated than somebody that is already into the non-duality and they're just reading about it. They're just reading about it, but actually not activating it with practices on their like 3D reality. Okay, so it will be somebody that's just like stuck pretty much always on like the high, and you see their life and it's like they never do, let's say, yoga, they never meditate, they never do anything, but all they want to do is just be on like the non-duality and never taking any physical action here. So that's how you would see it, like when you're trying to balance. It's not actual, like masculine is not always about just actions. It's also again finding that pattern. So a spiritual balance is not something you do when you're like in trouble. It's not something like, oh, I'm out of a job, I don't have money, I just broke up with my girlfriend, boyfriend, or like I'm going through this. Like, yeah, those work as catalysts, but you have to understand that spiritual balancing, since it's the lesson on this density, it takes a lifetime, okay? And it's not to be obsessed about it, that you always want to be on this balance, but it's like a lifestyle that, again, find the balance. Like, trying to sometimes be conscious when you're falling too much in one side or the other. And I think we are almost at a point where, because of the internet, we can see it in other people and sometimes be able to see it in ourselves so easily. So I think we have a easier time to identify like which polarity we're like falling on, right? So which one is more like out of balance. So that's it. That's all I have for this video. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll answer on the comments, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye.